I was the FBI's rising star. First in my class, trusted, respected. Then I met her. Evil doesn't wear horns. Sometimes it wears a badge. They told me I was one of the good ones. First in my class, sharp jaw, clean file, white shirt, navy tie. I believed in rules, structure. I believed that wearing the badge meant something, meant justice, meant control. But control's a funny thing. It only exists until it doesn't. Pikeville, Kentucky, 1987. My first solo field assignment. The town smelled like coal and desperation. People were worn down, poor, suspicious, but they trusted me. The outsider with a federal seal on my wallet. They thought I was there to help, and maybe I was. At first, they gave me a bank robbery, cold for months. One name kept circling back. Carl Lockhart. Locals called him Cat Eyes. Real piece of work. But it wasn't Carl who flipped the case. It was her, Susan Smith. God, Susan. She was rough, sure, sharp-tongued. You could see the fight in her eyes from a mile away. But there was something else, something underneath the cigarettes and motel perfume. She was tired of running, tired of men like Carl. She wanted out, and I gave her away. It started professionally. Interviews in diners, she gave me leads. We built the case. The bureau was impressed. I got promotions in their eyes. But I kept taking her calls, not because I had to, because I wanted to. She'd say things that didn't belong in FBI reports, personal things, human things. It made me feel something I hadn't felt in years, needed, powerful, desired. It happened once, then again, then as often as I could justify. I told myself I was helping her, that she was just grateful, that I was still in control. I wasn't. Back home, Kathy, my wife, was slipping further away from me every day. And Susan was coming closer, too close. She started calling the house, leaving voicemails, talking about the baby. She said it was mine. I don't know when fear replaced guilt. Maybe the day she said she'd tell the bureau. Maybe the night she asked me to leave Kathy. Or maybe it was when I looked in the mirror and realized I wasn't who I thought I was anymore. That night, June 8th, 1989, I didn't drive out there to her. At least, I don't think I did. I remember the heat, the way the windows fogged up even with the AC on. I remember her voice, angry, desperate. I remember her grabbing my shirt. I remember letting go of her, of the badge, of everything. Her body went still, just like that. A life snuffed out, and I was the one who did it. Not Carl, not some junkie with a shotgun. Me, Mark Putnam, FBI. I wrapped her in a sleeping bag like I was clocking out, drove through the forest until the dirt road disappeared behind me, dug a grave with my hands, covered it in stones, drove home. Kissed Kathy like nothing had changed, but everything had. For a year, no one suspected. I wore the same suit, filed the same reports, ate lunch with the same agents. I buried Susan, and then I buried what I had done, under duty, routine, and denial. But her family didn't stop. They kept asking, kept pushing. And eventually, the bureau turned inward. Polygraph, questions, silence, then the inevitable unraveling. I walked into the Lexington office like a man walking into his own execution. I told them everything. I didn't lie, not anymore. I confessed to the affair, to the baby, to the I showed them the grave. And you know what they gave me? 10 years. Not life, not the penalty, just 10 years. Manslaughter, they called it. I did 8. Quiet, controlled, just like they taught me. When I got out, I disappeared. Changed my name. Moved south. I walk past people now who don't know who I am. They see a man in a golf shirt, maybe a retiree. They don't see a kid, but I see him every day. You want to know what went wrong? It wasn't one moment. It was rot. Slow, silent, corrosive. It was believing I was above the rules, that the badge made me invincible, that I could live 2 lives without one of them catching fire. The truth is, the moment I crossed that line with Susan, I was already lost. The just made it final. They say I'm the first FBI agent in history to be convicted of. That's a fact. It's in the training manuals now. A case study, a warning. But I'm not a headline. I'm not even a monster. I'm what happens when the system creates something perfect and then forgets it's human. You don't need horns to do evil. Sometimes all it takes is a badge, a secret, and one moment of weakness. And trust me, one moment is all it takes. But I'm not the only one who wore the badge and lost control. There are others. FBO who crossed the line, and never looked back.